Hello, my name is Ebony K. Copeland. I am from Manchester, New Jersey. I was born in Lakewood, New Jersey. I grew up under the Manchester Township school systems from kindergarten till high school. I came from a family that believed in God and a family that believed in sticking together. And as a result, I am who I am. My parents both worked hard. I grew up in a home right next to my Aunt Katrina. Next door, we were neighbors and family. And I can remember so many wonderful times that we all came together as a family, from cookouts to just sharing of foods and just loving on each other. We grew up as a blessing to have housing and food and not lacking. And I thank God for that from the foundation. I am a descendant of Reverend Frank Hicks and Amzie Worthy Hicks. Everyone came together to love each other and to help each other in the community as well as family. And I saw a lot of that in my dad. He was everything. He would put together the house, the food, whatever. He was just such a family person. And he taught me a lot to be who I am, from waxing the car, from cutting the grass, to cooking, to gardening, and flower. He would love flowers. As he grew up, he would tell me stories of Papa Hicks and how he worked him so hard. He would wake up in the morning early before he went to school. He would tend the farm, and he would come home and attend the farm. And he had a sister named Barbara, and she would do his homework for him and help him keep up on his, academics, because he would work so hard, 7 days a week. He would work on the farm, maintaining the farm, making sure the community had food, making sure the family had food. My great grandmother, Amzie Hicks, was a councilwoman, so she did a lot in the community to help people. I've heard stories where she would take people to go vote, and she would make sure they had food. And she was a tough cookie, I heard as well. Like, she was a no nonsense kind of woman. And she believed in togetherness and family. It doesn't matter what you have or don't have, she would make it work. And she would never let a person starve, because food was our love language as a family. And I can remember the stories that they would share with me, and how she would make this blueberry cobbler, and it would just bring everyone together, just the way that she would cook. And she would prepare her meals that Saturday. So when Sunday time come after church, everybody would be at Mama's house eating. So I'm grateful, of these stories that were told, and, certain traditions has been passed down from generation to generation, especially recipes. And it's such a blessing to hear these stories and to incorporate the recipes of making the blueberry cobbler, or my grandmother, which was Clara Lee Hicks. She was the daughter of Reverend Frank Hicks and Amzie Worthy Hicks, and she lived on Fifth Avenue at the end of the last street. And Mama and Papa lived on the first street, in Manitou Park. And it was such, growing up, it was just such a blessing. I would have little walks with my grandmother, and she would tell me the stories, and she would take me sometimes walk back up in the woods and see like the family property and the land back in Manitou Park. And she would tell me, how she used to work hard as well, growing up, and she worked in the school system. So education was really big in our family, and going to college, and most of my family pursued college and careers. And we also have military in our family, a lot of military. So we come from a very wholesome, respected family in the community as well. And that's a blessing, because back then, Black people weren't known to really have a lot of property and land, and, to be, somewhat middle class, citizens. and believe in helping others. So it's a blessing and a privilege to come from a wonderful family, knowing how we were brought up and how we were raised, and to carry on that tradition. So I'm so grateful of that. And I'm grateful of family, because without family, we would all be here existing. So, and I thank God for that. And we come from such a large family. As my cousin Katrina said, our family's so huge, and we are reuniting our family back together. So it's a blessing for us to come together. And unfortunately, the tragedy did happen with, our belated loved great grandmother Emsie, you know, of her death. But we still, as we mourn, we still celebrate, her legacy and what she stood for as family and bringing everyone together. And I'm so grateful to have that opportunity just to share, as I am descendant. I never got a chance to meet my great grandparents, but I've heard so many wonderful stories of them. And it just inspires me to keep going, and to carry that on in my family. And I thank God for, my family and where I come from. Yeah. I would encourage, the young people to continue to learn and to learn your family and find out the history and the root on where family comes from, because that is the creation of God. Knowing where you are makes you a stronger person. It gives you hope and inspiration. And, back then, during the times, and I have to say this, with slavery, we all didn't know where we came from, because people were separate when they came here to America. And the discovery is to know who's who, and understanding the strong foundation that was built here in America for the freedom and opportunity for all. So I think you value yourself more when you know who you are, and it gives you that motivation, and it gives you that strength to keep going. So be encouraged, young people. Stay focused on your careers and your passion and your goals. And even though you may have a little hang up in the road, or, disagreement with family, always love. At the end of the day, never stop telling a loved one that you love them, no matter what, because we all, cry, we all mourn, we all go through the same emotions. We all are family, that we need to learn to stick together no matter what.